Hello everyone, welcome back once again. In this session, I'm going to talk about how to take automatic backups daily, weekly. So it is like required, or from the security perspective, it is essential that you take a regular backup. Either you take daily, weekly, monthly, whatever time it is. But it is essential that you collect regular backup. So usually in some of the organization, people used to do that. One of the engineer goes to firewall and then manually download the backup from here. But it's not essential that you go and collect the manual backups. You can schedule the backups via the automation, and then these backups will be stored automatically in the designated server. Either it could be SFTP, FTP, TFTP, or wherever you want. So in this today's session, I'm going to talk about automatic backups, and I'm using the TFTP server here. So this is my lab connectivity. You can see it here that I have a FortiGate firewall here, and it is accessible via this PC, and this is the server where my TFTP server residing. So it is having some IP address like dot 65 dot 165, similar to this. I will replicate it. Mm, Not this one. I have to replicate this. Yeah. So this is the IP address of the server. So it could be any server. So this is where basically the this is normal Windows machine, and I have installed a TFTP server. So usually in your organization, there could be running one of the any of the TFTP server. If not running, you can configure like installing this agent TFTP D32, or some other types of the agents are also available. So here right now, if I go to the directories, a lot of the backups like I have tested it before, so that you can see it here, right? My backup, something like so. I have put it regular one, so sometimes it has gone to, sometimes my laptop goes to the sleep mode, so it has not collected. But if it is like really hardware, it keep on sending. So before we begin, you should be aware that how to collect the backup, right? So you know that we go to this configuration, and here under the backup we can schedule it, right? Not schedule, we can take the manual backup. But as we are going to the automation part, here this is an automation. Under the security fabric, there is section of the automation. So in the automation, there are three sections: what action you want, trigger, or stage. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the help from the CLI to take the backup, right? So there are certain commands to take the backup via the CLI. So I will schedule or automate that script so that it can run every time to collect the backup. So either you can schedule that daily or weekly or monthly, whatever your choice is. So how we are going to do? We are going to use a CLI script. So you should know that how to take the backups very first via the CLI. So you can launch here from the CLI. How to take the backup? The normal command we have: execute backup full config. And if you put the question mark here, you can see that the options that what you can use to send your backup: FTP, SFTP, TFTP, USB, or the USB mode. I'm going to use the TFTP server for the backup right now. So you can use other options as well, whatever your setup is there in the organization. But my setup is the TFTP, so I'm happy with the TFTP. Space and put the question mark again. You see that it is saying there's the make a file name path on the TFTP server. So I'm going to make a file name. So file name I can put like FortiGate backup. Okay, and I'm putting some random name like XYZ. Okay, this is the name, and then if I put the question mark once again, now it is telling asking about the TFTP server IP address. So I told you before in the image in the EVNG lab, what is my IP address of the TFTP server? It is 192.168.30.165. Whenever you are configuring or using any of the TFTP server, any server where you are sending the files, it is very important that that server is reachable from your firewall. If it is not reachable, then obviously you can't send the files, because if you are sending the files, the corresponding ports should also be open. So for example, if I'm using the TFTP, so for the TFTP we have the port, which port? You can see it here, TFTP server settings, TFTP. You can see the port number, TFTP port number 69. So if it is using the default port, you should make sure that the 69 port number is allowed. If you are using the SFTP, make sure that port 22 is allowed throughout the path from firewall, your FortiGate firewall, to your SFTP server or TFTP server, whatever it is. So maybe like NSX firewall comes in between. You have something in the cloud, any uh, like your AWS firewall is blocking that, or Azure firewall is blocking that. You have any network security group configured in the cloud, whatever in the path, that should be first the connectivity and then the port number, then only it is going to work. So 192.168.30.165, that was my server. If I put the question mark once again, it says that the optional password to protect the backup content. So if you want to give the password, you can give it, but I'm not interested to give it. So I will just simply hit enter. So if I hit enter, you see the message here that it says that the connect to the TFTP server, right? Like this, and the send config file to the TFTP server. Okay. So it means that the server file has successfully been sent to the TFTP server. Obviously, once it is sent, then I need to verify that has that really sent it or not, right? So you have done some job, and now you want to see the results. So I will go to the TFTP directory and let's see what's there. I come back to the server here, and you can go to the show directory. You can see that FortiGate backup. Oh, spelling of the backup is wrong. It's not BCK. So never mind. Underscore XYZ, and that has just received here. So that's directory, but you can see the actual location here. So that should be here. Let me refresh this directory, and that's how it is. You see that it has been uh, came here. But where's the automation? I haven't done that, right? I have just manually entered that command to send the backup. Exactly. Yes, that's what I have did right now. This is a manual method, whatever I've just told you. So I know the manual method. If I run this command, execute this, right, then it will send the backup to my TFTP server. And I'm going to use that command. So I have just copied this command, and now I will minimize or close whatever I want. I just do it and come back to my automation section here. Automation, and my favorite thing is the action. What action I want to take? So action, I will create a new one. So in the new action, I will go to the option of the CLI script under the general. In the CLI script, it says that give some name. So I will say that, okay, backup. Okay. And obviously this is a scheduled backup. So I will to give some name like collect backup. Right. Collect backup. And now it needs some description. If you want, you can give it. And now it's like asking me that script, that what script you want to give it. So my script is this, right? Whatever I've just copied and where I have sent the backup using the manual command, the execute backup full config tftp FortiGate backup xyz. But the xyz name doesn't look good, right? Very first I will correct my spelling here, backup, and xyz doesn't look good. All right. And next thing, like every time once the script execute, the same file name will go there, FortiGate backup, FortiGate backup, right? So if it is goes there every time the same name, obviously it has to replace the older file. And I'm not happy that every time, like I have only one backup stored in my location. I'm not happy with that, right? So it should give some unique name like date and time as well, right? So I have to use some variable. FortiGate backup name is fine, but it should also come with the date. So I have to use some variable. So for the variable, you can use this option, percentage. You see, if you click in here, you can see the different options here. What are the other like options are available? So you see that the date and time is not available here, but that's how it works. Percentage, percentage, date, and percentage. So that's what I'm going to use it here. I will return. Okay. So FortiGate backup. Space is fine. I will use underscore, and then I will use percentage, percentage, and date, and close this date. And after that one, I'm very interested in the time as well, right? So I'll put one more underscore, and again percentage, percentage, and time, and close this variable. Okay, so what is going to do now? FortiGate backup percentage date. Like first it will like use underscore, and then it will give date on which it was created this backup, and then the time at what time it was this backup was collected, and it will send to this one. Okay, next thing, record these options you can use it, and upload also you can use, but I'm fine, like I can write it here, smaller script here. Administrator profile, which profile I want to use here. So I will use the super admin one, because it's always essential that you collect the backup via the super admin, because if you're not using that, you might not uh, collect all the config file. So always use in that way. Okay, and click OK. So now my collect backup job is ready, but I want that when that backup has to be done, right? This is a backup that has to be, this is a job, this is the action that has to be done. But when, what is the trigger point, when it will take? So that I will mention it here as a trigger. So in the trigger, I will create a new one, and there's a different option. I will go for the schedule. So at the bottom, there is option of the schedule, and I will say as a weekly backup. Okay, so I'm not going to take a weekly backup because I have to wait like 1 week to show you the results, and I don't want to do that. So what I will do for the, like, these are the options available. You can see that hourly, daily, weekly, and monthly. So I will go for the faster method so that I can show the results, but you can use any of the options. Most highly recommended way is the weekly backup. Like most of the people do it, the weekly backup. Some of the smart guys also goes to the daily, so you can go for the daily as well, but hourly is not recommended in the production environment. Every hour backup, not at all. You your firewall will like overloaded unnecessarily, and also the space will be consumed unnecessarily in the server, right? So go for the weekly, for the normal. If you want to rush, go for the daily, but obviously not hourly. But I will use the hourly so that I can show the fast results. And the minutes, like I will keep it as 0, and then I will click OK. All right, so that my schedule has been ready. It should be okay. The name I have given the weekly backup, but actually it is hourly. Okay, you can see the frequency here, right? Hourly. So don't go with the name, but it's okay. Whatever the name you want, you can give it there. So weekly backup, but for you showing you the results, I have taken it hourly. And now I have to connect both of the things, this weekly backup and the action, whatever we have created, right? So we have the two things now. We have a trigger something here. Let me take pink color. Not my favorite, but yeah, it looks good on the screen. So we have a trigger configured as a weekly backup. We have an action configured here that says that some script to collect the backup, but there is a no connection between them. And that connection, whenever you have two parts of the things, you have to connect. The easy method is then stitch it, right? So that's what we have here. Stitch it. Make the connections between them, make them get connected, make them a common thing here, right? So that's what I'm going to do it here, and I'm going to stitch both the things. So go to stitch and create new, and now I'm seeing it here and RT backup. Right, the correct one, most results, or you can give the same name as a weekly backup, whatever you want. Okay, status is enabled every time it takes it, that's fine. And the action is sequential, that's fine, one by one, like a trigger and then action, not the parallel. Description if you want, like anything you want, abcd. Add the trigger. So trigger I have created, that I have told that the weekly backup, which is actually an hourly, but yeah, name is the weekly backup. And add action. Add action is the which script it has to run. So it has to run the collect backup, and that tells like how to take the backup. And I click OK. So now my stitch is ready. My backup is here, hourly backup. You can see if I scroll to right side, you said that trigger count, that how many times the backup has been taken. So it is like 0, haven't taken any backup. Okay. And obviously there should not be anything here as well, right? So I will just refresh it. Okay, so there's no backup with the name whatever I have configured. You can always review the name whatever I have here, right? So the name is the FortiGate backup, and there's nothing name, no name similar to the in the evng file. So I will pause it here, and once the backup is collected, then I will come back once again to you and then show you the actual results, that how the backup has been collected on the TFTP server. I will pause it here. All right, so I have waited around like a few hours, and then I see that some of the jobs has been executed here for the hourly backup, like around 4. But if I go to the tab that where I should get the backups, I do not get the backup. Like I get only one backup of that date specifically. In fact, the time one I do not get it. That is a problem here because of the format. So because of the nano format, it doesn't, the time is not get collected. So I have to change the syntax whatever we have given. So I have given the collect backup here. So if you are like, this is good for you, that if you are not taking the time, it works perfect. But in case you add the time variable, is not suitable. So if you are happy with the date, because if you're running the daily backup or the weekly backup, the date is sufficient. You don't need the time because you're not running multiple times a day. So a single date is sufficient. So if you run something like date only, you can put the date variable and the send to the server. But in case you want to also include the time, so rather than the time, you have to give the syntax like log dot event time. Okay, so what it does, it gives you a time in the nano format, which is not like very easy to understand, but actually it accepts by the Windows where like TFTP server where we are collecting it. So that's what I have changed the format here right now. Okay, and now rather than waiting for cyclic, because if you like more time it will take once again to get you tested. So I will just test it here in that way. We have some diagnose command to test our automation that whatever you have created or not. Okay, so I have added the command. I will show you once again like this: execute full backup and the date percentage underscore percentage log event time percentage and the TFTP server. So the same as earlier it was. So now if I like uh, run the test my command, I diagnose uh, test automation, no, diagnose automation and test, and then our trigger. So our trigger was configured as the I have like created a new trigger as well, so I can just test the other one. You can test the R backup as well. So any even like whatever you take it, that's how it is going to work it here, right? So I can put the data here like this. Okay, so now you can see that whatever the data I see it here, that the FortiGate backup is coming in this format. So if I run that command once again like this, you can see that one more backup is stored here, right? So the time I run that automation, the backup is coming there. So if you do not run this command, automatically it is attached with the schedule that either you run by the daily or the weekly, and on that time the backup will be selected. So you are free for that one. All right, so I'll stop it here. See you in the next video with something new. Till that, bye bye.